Hello there, comrades, and today I am showing you the BlueDawn Donbass Crisis mod. I'm doing a unit showcasing of the Ukrainian faction, the different regiments, and I will also be doing another video of the vehicles in the Donbass are used by the Ukrainian army. So, to start with, here we got Battalion Azov, a very nice looking uniformed unit. The volunteers mainly came from Mariupol and some from Kharkiv, or Kharkov as some others call it, but it's a very patriotic volunteer unit that was very successful in the early days of recapturing territory. They retook Mariupol, and they performed a lot of great military service. They got the I and the N as their symbol. It stands for either ideals of the nation or national identity. It can be either one you want. And yeah, so that's that. Here we have the Battalion Donbass. As you can see, they are all clad in primarily a black kind of uniformed suit. Their main symbol being the eagle or the falcon diving down. And these guys mostly were people that had fled from Donetsk because of the Russian thugs and military that were either attacking them or their families, or one reason or another they just couldn't stay. So instead of just fleeing to West Ukraine and living there, they decided to stay and fight, and they formed the Donbass Battalion. And the Donbass flag is not in this mod, so I just used the Ukrainian reverse colors with the trident. Here we have the Georgian Legion. These guys, self-explanatory, kind of come from Georgia, or Georgian Ukrainians, and they are showing solidarity and support with Ukraine because they both share a common enemy, obviously Russia, because of Russia's intervention in the South Ossetia and taking that from Georgia. I also have this really cool patch. You can't really see it. It's like a wolf, though. It's really cool. But yeah, they're Georgians and Ukrainians that they fight for Ukraine. So yeah. Here we just have a group of volunteers. It's just kind of a mix mash of troops. Nothing specific. I think it's like Idar or Dnipro or Dniproa, I think is the proper name, Dniproa. You don't really say the D part, but yeah, that's them. Here we have the Pravi sector, or right sector. These guys, just like Azov and Donbass, are real fanatics, you could say, of Ukraine. They're very pro-Ukrainian, and they are also like just the most aggressive and like most successful within fighting back the Russian occupation. And they've helped win several key battles and whatnot. Very distinct black, brownish kind of uniform. And they're not officially in the mod yet. They have a few skins, but this is just I just kind of put on some random equipment to them that kind of matched them. But yeah, that's them. Now we're having on to another unit of just kind of volunteers. Kind of just got a mix mash. You got this guy wearing a bandana. This guy's got like a British helmet, like the DPM or something like that. More of that Soviet style helmet. So yeah, that's them. We have the 10th Ukrainian Mountain, and I think these guys are volunteers, or maybe they're an official army unit. But anyway, they look really good. I don't have much information to share with them because I don't know too much yet. Or I just haven't read into them. But yeah, they're good looking. Here are the internal troops of Ukraine. You got the obvious, the Berkut with their rather distinct symbol of a falcon. And so this is like the right variant, so they'd have the club and the shield. This is more of the kind of militia side of it, where they're kind of heavily armed. Same with like the sniper. If you've seen the protests in the Maidan in the later days of the protests, the Berkut started using these snipers. They had all black on. They had the yellow armbands, which I mean aren't in the mod, but yeah, that's what these guys are. And these guys are the newer. These are like standard police, but they're the newer kind. You can tell by the patch. It's like just a newer style. Out of a lot of the reforms in Ukraine, one of the bigger overhauls was the police force due to severe corruption, which I think is what these guys are. They're like the old militia, Soviet police kind of style. Which, yeah, so that's them. Kind of heavily armed, mostly sniper and whatnot. But yeah, so that's the internal troops of Ukraine. Here we have the National Guard, or Natsgvardia. And this was actually also, the National Guard was originally disbanded in Ukraine, and they brought it back, and it was brought back by a group of volunteers, former police, and whatnot, that they reorganized the National Guard, so Ukraine has a National Guard again. So yeah, that's these guys. Looking nice as always. Here we have the Ukrainian Naval Infantry, the Marines. And I'm not too much sure of what they... I don't imagine they'd be taking part in many land operations. I know they probably patrol around Mariupol, Odessa, and whatnot, because those are port cities, and so, them being naval marines, it makes sense. So, yeah, a good-looking unit. I got a cool-looking flag. I don't know if that's a special, significant detachment of the Navy Infantry, or if maybe that's just the Navy Infantry's emblem, but yeah, that's them. Here we have the Ukrainian Spetsnaz, which is a special forces unit, and I guess these ones, they work with the army. They do sabotage, or they help get behind enemy lines, or they help flank around. They got the big bazooka thing. I forget the name of it, but that's them. They don't have any specific markings of any kind that I can see. Nothing unique, or at least within markings or uniform style. Here we have SBU Alpha and SBU as well. Actually, I'll show you them. The SBU, the standard SBU, I think they take part in raids, like they raid compounds of suspected terrorist cells, or they take part in maybe hostage situations or bank robberies and whatnot. Same with the SBU Alpha, but I think there's something a little more elite because they have this really cool patch, like a sword kind of thing with the Ukrainian cross and trizub in the center. Regardless, they look awesome. They got some silenced weapons here. Yeah. So that's them. Here we have the Ukrainian, I guess just like the official Ukrainian army. Up until 2014, they used, up until 2015, they used this kind of camo. And this is the older kind of Soviet-ish style, the old Soviet Ukraine kind of style. It's not exactly the same. They kind of modified and changed a little, but Ukraine wasn't like many old Soviet republics. They didn't invest a bunch in military spending, so the military never really changed or really grew. But yeah, that's them, and I like this kind of camo. I think it's the TTSK camo. I don't know, but yeah, it looks nice. I liked it. A good color and pattern, but yeah. That's them. So these are Ukrainian tankers. So they drive tanks, armored vehicles, cars and whatnot. That's kind of obvious, but here we have Ukrainian recruits. These guys I just kind of made myself. They look more like the border guard with the plain green and the plain green hats. There is no official border guard unit added in. They are going to be there, so I'll show you when they are. And this officer I kind of made myself. I liked the uniform, as I said, and I also liked this hat, but the hat wasn't on any specific unit, so I just kind of put it on him. So yeah, that's kind of it for the land forces of Ukraine. Next video will be a video about the different vehicles, showcasing the different vehicles in the mod, the ones used by the Ukrainian military. So yeah, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.